p.m. The Lafourche Parish Council meeting of February 11, 2025 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carlene, can please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Brumfield.
Present.
Mr. Adams had to go back to work. He will not be with us tonight. Mr. Perk.
Here.
Mr. Melvin.
Here.
Mr. Pierce.
Here.
Mr. Arabi.
Here.
Chairman Otan.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Here. Mr. Lorraine. And President Chasson.
I'm here, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carlene. If everyone would please rise, we'll be led an invocation by Councilman Perk, followed by a pledge of allegiance by Councilman Melvin.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. We come to you today asking for your guidance, Lord, your wisdom and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful and productive discussions and do what is best for the people of Lafourche Parish. In your name we ask this. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. We'd like to remind anyone wishing to address the council to please fill out a blue form located at the entrance door. Get up to the council clerk. We'll be sure to recognize you during the recognizing the public section of the agenda. Additionally, we'd kindly request that you put your phones on silent and or turn them off, just out of respect for everyone else in the chambers. And last reminder is that we will call for public input on ordinances as we customarily do, but resolutions we'll just go through them and discuss just among the council. So if you wish to discuss any items, please do get up during the public wishing to address the council so we don't miss you. With that said, we'll jump right into tonight's meeting. Item A, state and or federal legislative updates. We have none this go around. Item B, we have none. Item C, presentations and or updates. And first up will be Mr. Cody Gray to give a report for Lafourche Parish Tourist Commission, which was submitted by the administration. Cody, please remember to state your name and your address, and I'm sure Rachel has you live. Give her a second.
We good now? Oh, there we are. Cody Gray, 4484 Highway 1 in Raceland. Good evening. Cody Gray, President and CEO for Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism, which is the tourist commission for Lafourche Parish. It's my pleasure tonight to join you at the annual time that we are here to give you a report on tourism in the parish. Joining me here this evening, I do want to recognize our board chair, Ms. Marguerite Knight Irwin, along with our sales and marketing manager, Mr. Ian Wallace. Going over the report which you have in front of you, just want to touch on a few things that are in here, some highlights for the year. Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism remains committed to being a destination that fulfills its brand promise. Of course, our goal is very simple, which is to attract visitation to Lafourche Parish by promoting our authentic Cajun communities, culture, food, attractions, festivals, and events. Looking at our marketing, our sales, and our outreach, our marketing and communications remained a driving influence in 2024 with educating potential visitors about Lafourche Parish. During 24, our public relations efforts generated over 117 million media impressions and featured stories in publications such as Smithsonian, the Globe and Mail, Paste Magazine, and Daily Yonder. Digital advertising generated over 15.1 million impressions, while our social media advertising generated over 3.84 million impressions. We executed a comprehensive media plan comprising of print, digital, TV, and social media advertising. These efforts led to a record 254,000 visitors to our website, 19% increase in our visitor guide downloads, and a 42% increase in our email newsletter subscriptions. We continued our award-winning marketing campaign titled You Gotta Try This, which remained a powerful tool in promoting the parish's unique culinary culture, inviting visitors to experience our authentic flavors. Additionally, we launched a new television show, which hopefully you all have checked it out. It's on HTV10, called The Local Lafourche, and we continued to promote the Cajun Bayou Food Trail, which generated over 847 meals served in the parish in 2024. Through our sales and marketing, or through our sales and outreach efforts, we hosted 9 groups in Lafourche Parish in 24. We generated 1,993 room nights, and our team also attended 30 trade shows, conferences, professional meetings, and hosted 113 trade show and operator appointments. Moving down to our projects and events, of course, hopefully all of you have driven past it and seen it. We celebrated a major milestone for our organization in 2024, which was the groundbreaking of our new state-of-the-art visitor center, which will serve as a hub for educating and orientating visitors. We look forward to completing that project and opening it up here at the beginning of the summer. A special thanks goes to our building committee, our board of directors, Lafourche Parish government, and those that are working very hard on our beautiful new facility. Significant progress was also made on the Cajun Bayou Wayfinding Signage Program, which is a comprehensive signage system directing public tourism offerings in the parish. We did secure funding for that in '24. We have finished up the plans. We have submitted those to DOTD and are working through a few minor changes with them to get that permitting approved here at the beginning of the year so that we can start construction. Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism, along with our parish president, Mr. Archie Chasson, was proud to represent Lafourche Parish at the Congrès Mondial Acadien in Nova Scotia in '24, where we exhibited at the Lac Exchange, engaged with local dignitaries, participated in community events, and hosted the first ever Cajun Music Jam in Nova Scotia. Lastly, we were thrilled to receive the Destination Marketing Accreditation Seal from Destinations International, which is the highest accreditation a tourist commission can receive in the industry, and we are one of the smallest in the entire country to receive it. This designation serves as a visible industry distinction that defines quality and performance standards. Moving over to our hotel occupancy on the next slide there. In '24, we welcomed the addition of a new hotel property in Thibodaux, the Holiday Inn Express and Suites. This new hotel property, I do want to mention, increased the number of available rooms in our market, so the numbers that you are seeing below are a little skewed due to receiving, of course, more supply in the market. So whenever we're looking at this data, do keep that in mind. Our hotel occupancy rate for '24 was 46.9%, reflecting a slight decrease over '23. Additionally, the average daily rate declined by 1.1%, and revenue per available room decreased by 9%. However, looking at the overall hotel revenue, that increased by 4.9%, and our rooms sold grew by 6.1% compared to 2023. So whenever you adjust for those increases in those available rooms, 2024 outperformed '23 with both total rooms sold and total revenue showing significant growth year over year. This positive trend we do attribute to, we're still seeing an ongoing post-COVID travel demand. We're seeing a lot of visitors coming in for our local festivals and events, lots of sports and leisure groups, and of course business travel as well. Moving now to our awards and recognition. So our very own sales and marketing manager, Mr. Ian Wallace, received the 30 Under 30, was a 30 Under 30 recipient from Destinations International, and both myself and Ian received Best of Lafourche 40 Under 40, along with our office manager, Ms. Brandy Hebert, who began her journey in leadership Lafourche this year. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're in your packet there. We also continue to represent Lafourche Parish in various state, regional, and national boards and committees. So, of course, how does all of this impact Lafourche Parish's economy? Tourism in Lafourche Parish generates $92 million in visitor spending, $10 million in state and local taxes. It supports 1,114 jobs, and each household saves $285 a year in taxes. Lafourche Parish currently sits as the 18th largest visitor economy in the state. Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism remains committed to our parish, partners, and community as our destination continues to move in a positive direction. I would like to sincerely extend a thank you to the council, our parish president, our parish administrator, and their teams for supporting tourism, our organization, our signage project, and the rebuild of our visitor center. Another special thanks also goes to our board of directors and to our talented team for all that they do to serve our parish. We look forward to continuing to work hand in hand with our tourism partners so that together we can continue to position Lafourche Parish as a year-round tourism destination while enhancing the lives of all Lafourche Parish residents. And with that, that will conclude my report.
Questions for Mr. Cody Gray? Mr. Pert, you have the floor, sir.
Cody, I want to thank you guys, you and the board, for what you do. We've got so many hidden assets in this parish, but if we're not exposing them and promoting them, then they're a waste.
That's right.
So I saw that you were 18th. I'm sure we're going to move up in that number next year. So, but we appreciate all what you guys do.
Thank you.
And it's great to see you guys not only promoting, but man, it seems like every event I go to, I see you and Eden, and you guys are out there physically promoting the parish, so we thank you.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Corey, the only thing I'll say is Councilman Araby and I are both excited to report, if you hadn't heard yet, that our very own Lafourche Parish resident, Mr. Danny Maillet, was inducted into the Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals Hall of Fame.
Wonderful. Saturday
Saturday night in Baton Rouge. So we're very excited about that and pleased for all the work that Danny's done promoting basically tourism, if you will, in our area.
Absolutely. That's a huge honor, and congratulations to him.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up will be Mr. Patrick Gordon Sr., Chief Planning Officer with South Central Planning and Development Commission, and Mr. Andrew Barron, Senior Scientist with Barataria Terrebonne National Estuary Program, BEATNEP, to present a brief presentation on the Bayou Lafourche and Bayou Falls Home Sewage Assistance Program.
Well, good evening. I don't think Mr. Barron is here. He is the chief scientist at BEATNEP, and let me start off by saying that this program has been ongoing for the last 2 years in Lafourche, Assumption, and parts of Ascension. I don't think we funded any projects in Ascension, but most of the projects for the home sewer projects have been in Lafourche and Assumption Parish. With me today is Jonathan Eastwood. He's our Planner 1, and he'll be taking applications this coming year on this phase of the home sewer improvements. Just to let y'all know a brief history, in 2023, we conducted with BEATNEP the Bayou Lafourche project from Donaldsonville all the way down to the Intercoastal Canal. And any of the properties that had sewer plants that drained into Bayou Lafourche were eligible after inspection. If there was some mechanical difficulty with the unit, they could get funding for that. So in 2023, we were able to spend $200,000 for residents, 73 structures along Bayou Lafourche. And the reason that we weren't able to impact as many structures is because most of them were cesspools. So they were cesspools that had to be changed out, and we had to put in a whole mechanical treatment plant, which is about $4,000. So that was a little costly. We were shooting for about 200, but and then the program is based on a match. The first $1,000 is 100%. So if you could have a pump out, or you need an aerator changed out, or a drain blown out, you can get it for 100%. But if you need the whole system changed out, you have to put up 50%. So up to $4,000. So the next year, 2024, we went into the Bayou Falls area. And Bayou Falls was a little different. They had more mechanical treatment plants. It was newer development. And so we were, with the $200,000 from BEATNEP, which is also EPA funding, we were able to do 176 structures. So we were able to assist more individuals because of the mechanical treatment plants. It was maybe an aerator needed to be changed out, or a pump out. So here's 2025. So what's the next phase? Well, what we found is that there were a number of families that were unable to pay for the match. So the disadvantaged families that were along Bayou Lafourche or in Bayou Falls were unable to participate in the program. So we have an inspector that goes out, it tells the individual what's wrong with the unit, and tells them, you know, this is about how much it's going to cost you. And so many of them backed out of the program that were disadvantaged. So in getting with BEATNEP, they asked me, they said, well, you know, what would be the best way to handle this? And it would be to look at low to moderate income families in Bayou Falls and Bayou Lafourche, and let's see if we can't steer the money in that direction. So 80% of the funds in this $200,000 allocation for this year will be used for disadvantaged families, and 20% will be used for non-disadvantaged. The flyer that Ms. Babin has handed out to y'all has Jonathan's contact information on it. And if you know of any residents that need assistance with their home sewer mechanical treatment plan or a cesspool, please contact us. And but I do think this will probably be the last phase in Lafourche and Assumption. It looks like BetNet will be moving on to other areas, because BetNet does have 16 parishes within their region. So this was kind of a pilot program to see how it worked out. They're the only ones in the state that were doing this type of program, and it's worked out very well. Hopefully, federal funding won't get cut out in the future, and EPA will give us more funds to address some of these mechanical treatment plants, because there's a dire need for the maintenance of these systems. And I'll answer any questions.
Very good. Anyone has any questions? Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Okay, that's all we had on the presentations and our updates. Brings us to item D, engineers and our architect reports.
Good evening, sir and ladies. Kevin Azarn with GIS Engineering. No presentation tonight. I just wanted to update you on two projects that we had movement on the past month. The first being the Eunice Alamon pump station. We received open bids for that project. We're still reviewing that, and we'll be providing recommendations to the administration. But the apparent low bidder was Volute Inc. The bid was $1,553,954. So with that being said, we are reviewing that, and we'll be providing our recommendation. The second project was the Valentine Pontoon Bridge. So I attended a meeting last Thursday with President Sasson. We went to DOTD headquarters. We had a very good meeting with them. It looks like we will be favorable to actually receive the raised grant funds. The exemptions and kind of the headache that we were getting from DOTD, we figured out a workaround and a path forward for that. The recommendation from them is that we get the parish to accept the resolutions to make the adjustments to the project and the design exemptions. So we will be preparing those for the future council meeting for y'all's review.
Excellent. I'm cautiously excited.
We are too.
Anyone have any questions and or comments? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Do we have any other engineers and architects? Okay, brings us to item E, public wishing to address the council. Public hearings, agenda items listed are Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Justice of the Peace, Mr. Martin Wade, if you'd come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please. Remember, you have 3 minutes.
For the record, I'm Martin Wade, Justice of the Peace for District 4, Ward 10 in Lafourche Parish, P.O. Box 16, 16358 West Avenue A in Galliano, Louisiana. It's been my honor and duty to serve as the Justice of the Peace, but for 30 days I must step away from these duties because of heart problems I'll be operated on the 27th. So I've come to you to ask for y'all to, as a group, the Honorable Council, to vote in a ad hoc replacement, Mr. Troy Tomplay from District 3rd to serve in my stead while I recuperate. I'll be resuming hopefully everything on March 27th. I'll be able to step back into. I'll bring this to you. It's revised statute 13, section 2592. Most of the times a JP names his own replacement, but Lafourche Parish, St. Charles, and St. John the Baptist have special provisions where the governing authority of the particular parish has to approve the ad hoc appointment by a majority vote. And I'm asking y'all to allow Mr. Tomplay to serve in my stead because He's the closest to JP to my area. I've spoken to him. He's willing to take this on, and I respectfully ask that y'all give it your utmost consideration. Thank you.
So, Mr. Wade, I'm just wondering if we should include a date on this, procedure we're about to do, or is this something we just leave open-ended while you're out of service? I guess that's my only question. Like, do you have an effective date when you're going to be out of service?
Yes,
I know
sir.
you mentioned return March 27th.
Yes, sir. Stated in the letter, and I'll read this to the Honorable Council. It is with heavy heart and concern I place this matter before the Honorable Council to request a temporary appointment of an ad hoc judge due to my upcoming cardiovascular surgery, waiving HIPAA, which will require at least a 30-day out-of-office recuperation. Starting on February 27th, the day I'm scheduled to go in the hospital and be operated on, and to March 27th, 2025 for my recuperation.
Very good. Does anyone have any questions of what he's stating? Because what we'll do is I'll entertain a motion. I'll read the motion if someone wants to go ahead and put that forward, and then we'll allow the public to state or to any input that they may have, and then we'll vote on it. We go with that. Anybody has any questions for Mr. Wade before we put this motion together? No? Okay. So right now, I'd like to entertain a motion that we, per RS 13:2592, Section B, which specifically references Lafourche Parish, that we would appoint the Honorable Troy Tomplay, who is a Justice of Peace of 29-3, as the ad hoc Justice of Peace in Mr. Martin Wade's position, JP 29-4, from the period of February 27, 2025 to the period of March 27, 2025. I think that's the motion we would have to put forward. I think I said everything. I included everything on that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm seeing Mr. Perk shaking his head that he's making that motion. Do you need anything else, Ms. Carleen, on that? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Perk. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Brumfield. At this time, does anyone from the public wish to comment on this? Okay, Mr. Wade, Mr. Ron, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Ron Sapke, 110 Bourgeois Street, Rayson, Louisiana, 70394. My only problem is the same thing that you addressed, Mr. Ote. Y'all may not want to keep a closed date. Y'all might want to end date may want to be when he's recovered or something like that. I wouldn't want a closed date may not be a good idea, because if it switches, y'all get past that date and he's still not fully recovered, y'all gonna have to come back here and appoint Mr. Tompley or somebody else after that.
No, that's a good point. That's why I asked for exact dates. I don't know if we should take a recess and we can consult the district attorney if there's any advice with respect to the dates. Or do you want to make a comment? You want to take a recess for a second? Yeah, all right. So I know we're in the middle of a motion, but right now we'll get a motion by Councilman Araby, second by Councilman Chesson, that we take a 5-minute recess. Any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 absence, that absence being Mr. Williams.
That's what I told him he gave us.
We did get clarification. The motion on the floor is valid because there is a 30-day max ad hoc appointment that we can do. So it was confirmed. So we have a motion on the floor, and we're still in the public wishing to address the council. Anyone else would like to make a comment on the motion that stands on the floor right now from the public? Second call, public. Third and final call, public. On the council. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I really think that you have to get a unanimous vote before you could bring this up from the council, and everybody needs to vote for it if you want to take action. What happened was he contacted me yesterday about all this, and we passed the deadline, so I said just come to the council meeting, but you really need a unanimous vote to take action on this. You can't just do it with a motion.
It's not Ms. Lisa's.
Yeah, so this is just offering a motion for appointment. I'm reading the provision in the state statute. I know what you're saying.
agenda, so you need a unanimous vote to put it on. Period.
I'm trying to remember, I just read that.
Any item brought up from the floor.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I just read this.
All we gotta do is go say it's all right, you done with it. No big deal.
If it would be on the agenda, then you can get a motion. Everybody's gonna say yes.
Yes, so on the Robert's Rules of Order, if there's no opposition to routine business or little importance, time can often be saved by simply, if there's no general opposition, we can move forward as is considered unanimous consent. So to Mr. Daniels' point, does anyone here object to this motion? So we have a unanimous, no objection, so we'll keep moving forward with it. All right, good. Do we have any further discussion? Is everyone clear on the motion? I want to make sure that everybody's clear. So Mr. Wade is fixing to go into surgery, and we certainly wish you well. And we simply appointing Mr. Troy Tompley, who's his neighbor to the north, who is also a justice of peace, just to fill in. And this is what the if I remember correctly, this is what the constables typically do also. I think we've gone through kind of the same thing, where they kind of step in. But anyway, if there's no further discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by stating aye. Aye. All opposed state nay. Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 absence. That absence being Mr. Williams. Thank you, Mr. Wade, for bringing that to light, and Godspeed. Hope everything's good, and you're back in the saddle March 27th.
I'm going to try to be back as soon as possible. I'll keep you posted and appraised on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Is that it, Ms. Corleen?
Yes, sir. We good?
All right, brings us to item F, approval of minutes. I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the January 28, 2025 regular session. So moved by Mr. Pierce, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Mr. Williams. Brings us to item G, override vetoed ordinance. Item 2, the following ordinance was vetoed by Parish President Chesso on January 29, 2025. 6 votes are needed to override the veto. Ordinance number 7004. Customarily, there's an ordinance, whenever there's a veto override, we put the ordinance back on so it can be voted on. With that said, ordinance designating 2-90-gallon green garbage cans to be placed at the Theogene Melanson Leeville boat launch, sponsored by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Melvin. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this veto ordinance override from the public? Second call, anyone from the public like to comment on the veto override ordinance? Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the veto override ordinance? Would anyone from the council like to discuss this one? Mr. Perk, you have the floor first, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, we did receive an opinion from our district attorney, Ms. Christine Russell, basically saying that the request of this ordinance is that of an executive decision and not legislative, which is the body of which we serve. So even though, and basically her final comments is that even though the ordinance is absolutely no, it is recommended that the ordinance be rescinded. so that it be reflected in the parish records. So that was just for the record, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that, first of all, I'm not going to vote to override the veto. And it was me that proposed this. But what I take at heart is that you really need some garbage cans at the boat launch. 8 months ago, I went find the president in his office. I don't guess he cares about trash, but he wants to keep Lafourche beautiful. On November the 26th, I made that proposal. 24. On December the 10th, 2024, I deferred it till January 2025. And I'll tell you why I deferred it. I deferred it because we only meet once in December, so he'd have vetoed it, and no council was coming back, so that would have been a done deal. So I waited till January the 14th. There was a lady that contacted me, and she wanted to come talk. I said, well, you're welcome to come. I didn't go find her, she came find me, because she was saying that garbage cans should be put at the boat launch. For 10 years, you had cans there, and the garbage man passes there. Whether he picks them up or not, we had 2 containers made, they're still there. But anyway, on the 14th, she couldn't make it. She called me that afternoon. Something went wrong. She had to go to the doctor. And I told her, I says, just go take care of yourself. Don't worry about this. She says, if you could defer it one more time, I will be there on the 28th. So I did that. So on the 28th, it passes 7-2 to put them. Within 10 hours, they got an opinion from the DA saying that I cannot do that. And I'm going to abide by it. If I can't do it, I can't do it. The point I'm trying to make is every meeting, the district attorney's office gets a copy of the agenda just like we get. Why didn't they tell me on November the 26th that it couldn't be done? It'd have been case closed. I wouldn't have went any further. So I went as far as I can go, and the president lost 7-2. That kind of upset him. So they went find the DA, see what they could do to turn it around. And that's what they did. It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, if they'd have told me on the 26th, I'd have just left it alone and move on. But they let it go, they let it go. They tried to outsmart me in December, but they didn't, because I deferred it to January, because I knew they'd veto it. And that's what happened. So just let us know what's going on. If we can't do it, we can't do it, you know. But recently we just had, at the boat launch, the Saints came and made a big thing, a big deal. Not one councilman was invited, but the parish president showed up. Kind of strange, huh? But anyway, it's done. They wrote their opinion. I'm going to abide by it. I'm not even going to vote. I'm not even going to make the motion to let it die. But like I said, what I take hard, why you didn't tell me on the 26th of November in 24, not 25?
All right, we have any further discussion? Any further discussion? We'll bring it to a vote. So once again, this vote is to override the veto. So if you vote in favor of it, you're in favor of overriding the veto. A vote against means that this dies, and then we'll propose an ordinance to rescind. So with that said, all in favor signify by stating aye. All against say nay. Nay. Is anyone abstaining or not voting at all? Okay, motion fails. 0 yeas, 8 nays, 1 absent being Councilman Williams. It's a weird reading, this one. I don't know that I've had zero yeas on any item. It's very odd. All right, very good. So that brings us now to item H, which is public hearing and ordinance for ratifications. We have none tonight, so we do not have to open public hearing. Brings us to item I, proposed ordinances. Mr. Perk, would you do the honor, sir?
Thank you, Mr.
Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 3, proposed ordinance to rescind ordinance number 7004, which designated 2 90-gallon green garbage cans to be placed at the Theogene Melanson Leeville boat launch, administered by Mr. Councilman Lorraine. Number 4, proposed ordinance accepting the subdivision known as Indy Lee Mere Fort Public Subdivision into the parish system. Councilman Adams for administration.
This is going to have to move.
Council Broomfield for administration. Thank you. Number 5, proposed ordinance accepting the subdivision known as the settlement at Live Oak Phase 4 into the parish system. Councilman Broomfield for administration. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Perk. Item G, resolutions. Number 6, resolution certifying to the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development that Lafourche Parish government has and will continue to comply with all FHWA/DOTD requirements regarding performance of interim inspections, calculating the load carrying capacity, and load posting deficient bridges under their jurisdiction for 2025, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion on item 6? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Williams. Item 7, resolution approving change order number 2 for the project titled New Animal Shelter, increasing the contract price by $16,560.86 and adding 97 additional days to the contract time, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion on item 7? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Adams. I keep saying William.
I know.
His first name, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
So, yeah, because of T-Boo, I always think it's T-Boo Williams Adams. So when I'm saying Williams, I am talking about Councilman Adams, Councilman William Adams. Good point, Ms. Carlene. Item 8, resolution approving change order number 2 for the project titled Lafourche Parish Recreation District number 4, Heroes Park Hurricane Ida replacements and repairs, increasing the contract price by $10,659 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion on item 8? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Adams. Item 9, resolution approving a lease purchase for 3 vehicles from Golden Motors in the total amount of $154,740.36 by Lafourche Parish government on behalf of Lafourche Parish Library, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion?
Is this?
Hold on. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, these vehicles, they got a lot of mileage on them. The director, that's all for the library or what?
Is someone from the administration?
All 3 of them?
All right. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so all 3 vehicles are 1990 models with 100,000 plus. One of the vehicles left one of the library employees stranded on the road a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago maybe, and it wasn't worth repairing if they could look at buying new ones. So all 3 of them are for the library.
So 3 new ones coming from Golden Motors to replace 3 old ones.
Yep, and they're going to surplus the 3 old ones and auction them off like we typically do.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Good car for you, man.
All right, any further discussion? That being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that being Councilman Melvin, and 1 absence, that being Councilman Adams. Good, Ms. Carlene?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Item 10, resolution appointing 1 member to the Lafourche Parish Communications District Board. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Lorraine?
Yes, they had Mr. Reggie Pete, used to be chief of police of Golden Meadow. He decided to step down. His term came up February the 8th. And there was only 1 application that the town recommended, and that's fine. They recommended Michelle Lafont. She's the chief of police, the new chief of police. I have no problem with that because there was an opening and Mr. Petrie stepped down, and I want to thank him for his service, and fine with me. I'll move Michelle Lafont.
Okay, we got Ms. Lafont. Can I get a second for Ms. Lafont? Ms. Chessel, seconds a motion on Lafont. Any discussion? I will also state I'd like to thank Reggie for his service to our community in many different capacities. With that said, there's no further discussion. We'll bring it to vote. All in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item K, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Manager Reports, Presentations, or Updates. Item 11, Department of Public Works Representative to present a report. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we noted at the last, I guess, 2 meetings ago, you all got an email this afternoon with not only the pump station update report, but also the typical PowerPoint we do, so we'll be happy to answer any questions.
I did see the email. I hadn't had a chance to review it. Anyone has any questions on that before we go to item? Well, with that said, we'll go to item L, questions for the administration. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor first, sir.
Thank you. Real quick, I have a few notes on an updated timeline. I'm getting, of course, calls for the 40 Arpent Bridge over the St. Charles bypass, a timeline for repair when they're looking at that. Also, I'm going to get y'all an address. There's some road buckling on Highway 1 I'm getting calls about. And also, lastly, an update on the cement line ditch of what the engineer may have told y'all.
Where is that at?
In the country club, the one that has a buckling, one of the cement walls is buckling.
All right.
Washed out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Does anyone from the administration wish to address Mr. Melvin's inquiries? Mr. President.
So, I mean, I'll start out with the bridge. So we got a quote from a contractor today. So Dylan and I are going to talk about that after the meeting and hopefully cut him loose in the next couple of days to get it fixed. So we're talking a couple of weeks, not several months like we thought. So we sped it up for you. And then, Dylan, I'll kick it to you for, I mean, if you get us the address for Highway 1, Bo, we'll get that to DOTD. Okay. Just shoot me the address. And then, Mr. Chairman, I'll kick it to Dylan for the concrete line ditch.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Dylan, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Just to reiterate what President Chesson said on the Highway 1, get us those addresses, we'll get them to the proper people at DOTD. The Country Club cement line ditch, I did have a discussion with the engineer after your questions at the last meeting. He did reiterate that he has no fear that it's going to fall in anytime soon or block drainage. Yes, it is something we need to fix, but it's not an emergency at this point. So he's comfortable with that. He is still working on getting us a contract so we can reimburse him for his services. So you'll see a contract coming to council pretty soon on that.
Well, what about
Mr.
moving
Melvin?
forward as far as, it seems like it's a sinkhole in the back because it's washing right underneath it. It's washing behind it. So, I mean, is there a plan for that? I mean, is this, we're going to wait for it to fall in? I'm confused.
All right, thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Araby.
Mr. President, you got another update on where we're at with the Butch Hill pump station. Also, you and I spoke this weekend about the Butch Hill parking area, and you said you'd do what you can. So I'd like for you to try to see if we can get that accomplished also. I'll wait on your answers.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. Mr. Dillon.
So to respond to Mr. Melvin's question, we aren't going to wait for it to fall in.
I want to make sure.
But we do need a contract with the engineer to pay him for his services. So as soon as we get that contract, we'll start that process. But he has no immediate fear that's an emergency and it's going to fall in and block drainage. So just to be clear on that.
Thank you, Dylan. Mr. Brumfield.
So I want to know who I need to talk to about the ballpark, the farm off of back Merridale, because they have no net up and the balls that they are hitting are going and hitting people's homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know the owner. I'll give him a call.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would say get that resolved because Lockport's ball fields were shut down for about 10 years because of lawsuits from balls hitting houses. It was a big deal in the 90s. Mr. Chasson, you had something else to add?
So to answer Councilman Abbey's question, so we should have the set of plans back to FP&C based on some comments by the end of the week from the engineer. So they're talking about 2 or 3 weeks. So once we get those, we run it. The parking lot, I did reach out to Jacob with DOTD today to see if we can get some of the recycled material from the yard, either in Racing or Thibodeau that you told me about. So hopefully we could work that out and we'll take some of that recycled material and go finish out the parking lot. Get Mr. Santo fixed up.
Yeah, while we're on the administration, I do want to thank Dylan for quickly addressing some issues with Head Start in Lockport's parking lot or driveway, whatever it's called. They got it addressed really quickly, and they were very appreciative of that, so thank you. With that, I'm sorry, hold on. We just had a light up. Mark.
Yeah, I want to thank the administration, Archie, Dylan, Mr. Sam, the whole administration. Since our town hall meetings, we have a lot of issues that we need to address, and we've started doing that. And so you're starting to, it was great to ride out there yesterday and see some of the, the fruits of our labor. So anyway, I know we got a long way to go, but we're moving in the right direction, and I'm receiving some positive comments from our constituents in that area. And of course, we know it's never on their schedule, but it's right. It just doesn't happen quick enough, but we're doing the best we can with what we've got to work with. So again, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. And that brings us to item M, discussion, number 12, discussion as to why ordinance numbers 3599 and 6003 attached are not being followed by the administration, and requesting the Lafourche Parish District Attorney render their opinion as to why ordinance numbers 3599 and 6003 are not being followed by the administration. Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah. First thing I want to tell you guys, it's not me that introduced these two ordinances. I happened to be on the council. I supported it, but I didn't introduce it. And the first one, 3599, y'all had a copy of it. It became law June the 6th, 2005. They had 8 yea votes. Williams, DeLotte, Lassane, Affenhofer, Toops, Gould, Carly, and Lorraine. The nay vote was Michael Matern from Thibodeau. And that's about the logos on the car. So then the other one, 6003, there was 7 yeas and 2 absent. The yea votes was Jones, Sposito, Michael Grove, Corey Perilou, Noni Armin Otin, Jerry Lafont, and Mr. Lorraine. No nays. Bo Melvin was absent and Bourgeois was absent. And that one became law February the 17th, 2018. So all I'm asking for is for the DA to review it, and I got to do it by resolution. Just review it and see what makes the administration not having to put numbers and identify the cars when all the workers, all the libraries, all the water districts, all the levy districts, everybody puts it. And the administration don't have to put it. I didn't make this up. It's law. So just let the DA review it. I'll bring you the resolution and tell us if they got to do it or they don't have to do it. I didn't propose this. I supported it because I thought if the leaders can't do it, why should everybody else have to do it? I'll ask one quick question. Mr. Araby, you work for the parish. Did you have to have a number on the truck and everything in the back?
45 a long time.
Yes, he's not on the mic.
All you got to do is go look at the vehicles. Well, I'm not going to make the decision. I got to give you this, and let's let the DA make it.
Mr. Chasson, you have the floor, sir. Oh, now you got it.
Mr. Araby, when you worked for the parish, did you have a 1-800 number sticker on the back of your vehicle?
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't, because it used to be mine, and I never had one on mine. So if we go throw stones, Daniel, let's throw stones. It's all right. I'm good with it.
Hey.
No, I'm just checking it out there.
There's a resolution.
No. You call
You
my
have a
name.
motion. Press your button.
Got it.
All right, Tia, you have the floor.
You said that 1-800 number stick on my truck? Is that what you said? Yes, I did. The Explorer had one. You don't remember? I cut mine and made it smaller and put it on there, and everybody else started doing like mine. It was on there. And the sticker on the side and the number on the side. Sound like yours.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Daniel asked to make a motion. And by the way, unanimous consent is just to add it. If you ask for a motion, the motion gets approved, then it's added. So I did get clarification on that. Anyway, we have a motion. Mr. Lorraine, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd like to make a motion requesting that the DA issue an opinion if the administration should follow the two ordinances that are referenced here, which is ordinance number 3599 and 6003. That's your motion?
That is correct. It's in black
That's
and
his
white.
motion. We got a second by Mr.
Their
Araby.
law.
Any
I'm not making the opinion. I'm just telling you that their law they were voted on.
Okay, we have, so any discussion on this motion? Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just ask the council that if we're going to do this, that we not just focus on the administration and the DA investigate every political subdivision, because that's what included in this ordinance, and that you guys look at every political subdivision and whether or not their vehicles are decaled as well. Because I promise you, it's not just us. Thank you.
Copy that. Any further discussion? Mr. Perk, you have the floor, sir.
I guess to the administration is, you know, when we think about, and I get that we want it to be labeled parish and whatnot, but what we do see with the administration is that these guys do go out of town, okay? More so, right, and their position brings them outside the parish more than our other vehicles, our normal vehicles. And is it because it's a security issue? Or, you know, because typically they're traveling and they have no security with them, and is that a concern? So that's just, you know, that's the only thing that I think of, that how do we address that issue to ensure that they're safe? I know we want everybody to know where they're going or whatever, but that was just my question to that.
Thank you, Mr. Perk. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Perk, if we get down to the nuts and bolts of it, there's only 3 vehicles that aren't decaled, right? It's the Chief of Homeland Security, which is Chris, Mitch's, and mine. Technically, mine is not a parish vehicle. The ordinance that went through when you guys corrected the salary from all the issues we had from the previous administration, it gave the parish president the option to either take a parish vehicle or get a vehicle allowance. I chose the vehicle allowance option, right? I actually lose money on it most every month because we travel a lot. So my vehicle is not going to qualify anyway, so it does not have to be marked because it's not considered a parish vehicle. When you look at the other 2 vehicles, there is, and I'm sure the DA will reference this in their opinion, when you look at revised statute 49:121, there is an exemption to this, and it talks about vehicles that are used in prevention and detection and investigative work as identified by this section. I think I could justify that both the Chief of Homeland Security and the parish administrator would fall under that section. So those 2 vehicles would be exempt as well. Every other parish vehicle, now granted, we don't put the 1-800 number stickers on the back. Also in the state statute, it talks about, give me 1 second, Mr. Chairman. Let me get to the section. Provisions for exemption, sale and surplus. 1 second, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I just want to cite it so I'm right. It also talks in 49:126 that all public vehicles, aircraft, automobiles, trucks bearing a public license plate of the state or political subdivision shall also include and display state anti-litter messaging bumper stickers as included from the Department of Environmental Quality. So that means on every parish vehicle, we'd have to put the old litter stickers, if you remember those, right? We don't intentionally put the 1-800 number stickers on the back of the trucks because it's an insurance issue, right? People actually target parish vehicles so they could sue us on the back end. So I made that decision when Ms. Randolph was here, and we stopped putting those stickers on the back. That's why I asked you if you had one, Terry. It wasn't a dig at you. I just didn't. I thought by that point, because I know when I owned the Explorer, when I was the parish administrator before you got it, we didn't have one on it. So you cut one. Good for you. You actually followed the ordinance. I just didn't remember that. So my apology. No, you didn't have to. I mean, I'd have told you not to put it on there anyway, because I think it's an insurance issue, right? So by all means, go get the opinion. I think we're going to see, we're going to present to you guys some amendments, because again, I don't think we need a 1-800 driver sticker on the back of the vehicles, right? I just don't, for insurance purposes and targeting, I don't think it's a real big issue. So it doesn't really boil down to security. It boils down to more of just what's in the state statute and basically my discretion. So.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, any further discussion on this motion? Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to handle this is very simple. Take ordinance 3599 and take ordinance 6003 and redo it. redo it. This is law, so follow the law. I'm asking you to just follow the law. I mean, you got certain people up here that don't have to follow the law. It's law. Let the DA tell, hey, they might tell you to rescind them and make another one.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion on this motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All against say nay. Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. The absence being Councilman Adams. We have any additional discussion? You're saying you did? Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, I just wanted to let folks know, because some are unaware, that there was an incident at Nichols this past Friday where a young lady was attacked with a hammer, and thank goodness the staff at St. Thomas Aquinas, jumped into motion, and along with the campus police, got the guy, and the police arrested him in another like 20 minutes. So in any event, we're just glad that it's been taken care of. It's a very isolated incident, and again, we're just happy that the young lady is safe and that the perpetrator, the alleged is behind bars right now. So thank you all, and again, keep everybody in your prayers in Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Any further discussion? I would just say, Mr. Perk, if you want to hold the gavel for a second, just so this is something I want, and maybe I'll get some rebuttal. I don't know if you want to grab the gavel and hold the gavel. You want to press your button? There we have it. So on this issue, and look, I don't like to call out anybody. I know I got called out at the last meeting, but Daniel, I find it very interesting. You keep talking about DA's opinion. You've sat right there dozens of times saying it's just an opinion. We don't have to follow that. So why in the world will we be pursuing opinions for you when you've said dozens of times that it's just an opinion? It doesn't matter. So I apologize if I didn't get opinions for you, because you called me out at the last meeting for not getting opinions. And I'm going to tell you, it's because you, more than anybody, there was one other person that belonged in here. You're the one person that said you wasn't going to follow opinions, that they're just an opinion. All the way back to the previous DA, not just this DA, but the last DA, over and over and over. So if you've changed your tune and you're going to follow DA's opinions, I will request every single time and I'll be part of that, no problem. But you have historically said it's just an opinion. That's all it is, from the DA. So anyway, once again, I want to get that clear and on the record that you have said that all the way back to the last DA. So that's my thoughts on it, and if you want to discuss it, you can recognize it.
I want to see an opinion.
Okay, Mr.
It could be challenged in court. Doesn't mean that it's right. Could be right, it could be wrong. But if you want to challenge it, but it costs money to challenge. Okay? And that's it. We got to get the council to get an opinion from the DA, and the administration just calls them up and gets it done overnight in 10 hours. Let's see how long this one's going to take.
That's it, Mr. Lorraine?
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, so my only point is that if we're going to follow it, that's great. I'm all on board with that, so good deal. I'll take the gavel back. Good deal. Thank you all. With that said, I will now entertain a motion, item in for adjournment. Motion by Ms. Chesson, who quickly and loudly says she's ready for adjournment. Second by Mr. Lorraine. There's no further business. The Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of February 11, 2025 will be adjourned at 18:04 hours. I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent being Mr. Adams. Mr. Wade, good luck to you. We'll be thinking about you. Wishing you luck.
Dylan, we're going to miss you.